So there's this particular chain of Medspas that's been growing at alarming, neck-breaking speeds, and they're not the only ones. You may have come across their ads, maybe you've seen similar ads, or you haven't. Either way, you're probably wondering, how the hell can any Medspa run these kinds of introductory offers without losing money? And the answer is, they're not. They are losing money. This is a loss leader strategy, which I've explained in the previous video. I'm going to go and dive back into it now. And I basically want to highlight the fact that surely, for it to make logical sense, there's got to be something to compensate for that. What is it? The answer is, it's a very tight, robust backend. I'm going to get into that in a second, stick through till the end. And just note, these are not the only guys who are running this. This is just one marketing Medspa company that's been on my radar for a year and a half now, studying their ads consistently to understand what these guys are doing and how they're different. Just FYI, we did look at their landing pages. We did run through their funnels. It's very clear. This is a front end loss leader strategy. So let's dive straight into it and understand what the hell that actually means. I've shown you this before, you may have seen it, maybe not. Loss leaders are actually a marketing strategy that's proven as old as time itself. And it works because it gets people in through the doors for these particular reasons. They basically offer you a low barrier to entry. The user, the customer, has the chance to experience before fully buying, before investing properly. Why do you need to do this, especially with advertising on social media or any other cold traffic? Is because people don't know you, they don't like you, they don't trust you. So you need to combat those forces at play. This is how Gillette are doing it. They're giving you a blade for which they're essentially losing money because they know that they're not going to buy. You're tied into something that has a huge lifetime value. Okay, experience before investment, of course, crucial. Again, people want to try before they fully buy. They want to dip in their toes a little bit and they want to understand what the service is like, especially with Botox, with fillers, which are regarded as an art, right? They're looking at you as an artist. Or body contouring. They've heard of it, they've seen the trends, the fads, and they want to make sure that it's not just a fad, right? They want to get those that experience. And now I know you know these things, so I'm going to go very quickly over them because there are some objections that you have which are unspoken and they're very valid, and I want to be able to address those as well, right? The other thing is the foot in the door phenomenon, which is essentially you're achieving a small loop of compliance. Someone who said yes to something small will say yes again. You're basically getting rid of all the people who are just like window shoppers who are not ready to actually make a transaction. And that's the final point, which is they're predisposed to buy. So basically, the point that I'm trying to make here is that this strategy is net superior to running a free consultation, for example. If you've tried it, you've probably seen the shop rates are extremely low. There's a lot of tire kickers who are taking you up for a free ride. They're wanting you to answer their questions. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because when you look at the numbers, you'll see that actually you're spending way too much time of yours or your staff essentially entertaining tire kickers, window shoppers who are not ready to buy. Whereas here, when someone's actually taken their card out, made a small transaction, this is essentially a tripwire offer. Okay, let me show you in numbers what this actually look like. Say you do a body contouring package or a skin tightening service. Okay, you could be going down the route A with a value of $600 for the initial visit, or you could be doing a $99 intro. Okay, mind you, these guys are going even lower than that, so these prices are obscene, right? It's ridiculous how low these guys are going. And by the way, they're not the only ones. Let me give you another example. You wouldn't know it, you wouldn't believe it, right? I've spoken to the owner of this particular Medspa, and this chain has now 5 locations in Florida, and look at their introductories for laser hair removal, for massage, for facials. They're covering all of their bases with these extremely low tickets. Are they loss leaders? Technically speaking, not all of them. A lot of these, because it's so cheap to run the ads to them to acquire new leads, they're actually not running loss leaders. They're actually breaking even, okay? At least. And so let's look at the math real quick. The difference between a $600 and a $99 front end could be as high as 5x. You could be paying $300 to get this one in versus about $60 to get these ones in, or less. I've seen examples of facials for $25 that book themselves for about $10. They don't even need to be spoken to. Insane amounts of people to basically train your staff on. Get to that in a second. The other kind of like unspoken, unnoticed benefit to it is that the show rate goes up as well, because the price is way competitive. So people are going to be more attracted and more serious about actually following through and basically securing that deal. Conversion to second visit, this is the catch, and this is where these things really differentiate, where campaigns work or flop. The conversion to a second visit here can typically be lower because people who spend a lot of money up front may not have that much disposable income to spend again, and so that is something to be careful of. Sometimes pulling too much of that revenue collection up front ends up backfiring in terms of the lifetime value, whereas the conversion to second visit here can be 65% once you're done disqualifying the people who just came in for that offer. To be clear, I'm not saying everyone should and will convert to a next visit, and that's not the point. This strategy works with a mentality of sifting through the low ticket dirt, so to speak, to get to the gold, to the gems. Okay, please don't look at it as dirt. Please don't treat them as dirt. This is super important. A example of this is Groupon, for example. I'm seeing a lot of restaurants, a lot of Medspas go in Groupon and overcompensating for extremely low reviews with very low ticket introductory offers. The problem is that when you take them up on it, you go in there and they're treating you like garbage, and you feel it. And then you get more back reviews, and then it's just like reinforcing a negative loop. Okay, so do not do that. Back to the numbers here, you can see the volume of bookings is dramatic. So you can get 10 bookings here on the same level of ad spend, whereas here you can get 30, 40, 50, 60 bookings. So to give you the math on this, let me just sanity check this once again. For 10 bookings on $300 is essentially $3K spent on ads. Yeah, let's say we do that with $60 per appointment. That's essentially actually more like 50 bookings. So all of these numbers here skew further. I'm not going to go through that math again, but just bear in mind that the number of appointments, and actually, by the way, here this is 4,500. Let's say it sticks to 3K, so we have an exact like-for-like comparison. The numbers are just extremely disproportionate, the amount of bookings that you can get. And here's another benefit to that, which is with higher volume, you get better data. You get a lot of people going through. Momentum is super important, especially for your service providers, especially when you have new ones, right? You get new injectors in, new estheticians. You want to train them on volume, and you want to keep their spirits high as well. Another problem I see is Medspas who are only paying their injectors or estheticians part-time, and even then they don't utilize their full resource. Right? So you pay someone $60 an hour and they're there and they're only getting like one appointment every 2-3 hours. Their effective hourly rate is actually more like 180. You're literally bleeding money there. So wouldn't you rather have a flow of appointments coming in for them so you can continue to train them, especially when at the beginning they mess up, right? So we've seen body contouring estheticians not knowing where to put their laser lipo pads, or where to how to use the right technique for cavitation or for high-ticket medical grade equipment. Just the same kind of hand motions and placement of devices, right? You don't want to waste high-grade Medspa leads on that, do you? And so bonus, train your team on them, get that momentum going. Momentum is important for their mindset and for their sales ability, because the sales is where the money gets made, and they need reps. They need reps to create a mental muscle-mind connection, right? Between the script and the objection handlers that they know they need to say, and their ability to desensitize. They need a mindset of abundance to feel like they're getting so many reps that they can fail at without putting so much pressure on just one. It's a no-brainer. Okay, lower cost per lead, it goes without saying. You're getting lower cost per lead, you're getting more appointments. The show-up rate goes up as well, already discussed it, and it creates a competitive moat. Medspas are not willing to do it. They want to profit front end, and it's not because they don't want it. It's because they don't understand it. They lack the foresight, the vision to understand this thing as a system where the front end is losing or breaking even because the back end comes in, cleans up. Okay, I mentioned this, don't treat your clients poorly. I've mentioned the example of $25 facials. Imagine running $2,000 in ads and getting 200 appointments for $25 facials. If you retain even half of those clients for a second visit or for a package, if you get 10% of those as VIP, 10% of those clients, if you get only 2 of those clients, 20 of those clients to basically be high ticket retained, then your cost of acquisition of those clients has been essentially $100 per client. So that's the power of that. So the biggest objections, let's address them real quick. Will attract price shoppers and never come back? Yes, you will. 100% you will. And that's the whole idea. It's fine. Recognize them, treat them nicely, give them a good experience, let them go. At least you'll get a good review out of them, potentially. We can't afford to lose money on every patient. You can, because overall, you're making money in the back end and in the upsells. If you structure this correctly, you won't even lose money. You will break even. You're already losing money by not doing it. Medspas are losing money because they're keeping their staff unoccupied, and that's essentially costing them more in their overheads. Our services are premium. We shouldn't discount. Totally agree. It shouldn't be perceived as a discount. In fact, the way we weave this into the existing strategies for our Medspas is we utilize these tentpole moments: Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas, Valentine's Day, and we do it as a very, very limited, right? So it's only for the first 12 patients, extended by popular demand. It's there objectively, realistically for 24 hours, 48 hours, and then it's gone. Okay. If it works well and you want to run it evergreen all year round, you absolutely can and should. Again, it's just a new patient intro. So it's not about discount. It's not about devaluing. By the way, to be clear, I'm not even suggesting that you need to go this low, although these guys are clearly doing it and I've been doing it forever. I'm not even suggesting you go that low. I'm just saying the idea is to find that sweet spot between $99, $149, even $199, and just look at your point of diminishing returns, where the ad spend blows up and the additional revenue generated doesn't increase on parity, at parity. Okay, this devalues a brand. Not it doesn't. It doesn't if it is used strategically, like I said, with a good reason. As long as you give a reason, as long as you justify why you're trying something new, people will understand it. We're running a special for Black Friday because we want 10, 20 new ladies to find us and to work with us. We've opened new spots on our calendar. We have a new esthetician. Actually, I absolutely love that strategy as well. Whenever you get a new esthetician, and introduce her to the market, not as she is cheap, she can't do the right services, but rather it's we want you to get to meet her and then actually big her up. She's got these years of experience. She's doing this and this and that. She's skilled. This is not the reason why these specials are lower. They're cheaper. It's because we want you to give the opportunities to meet her. Okay. So finally, how do you make this work? You've got to choose the right leader. It has to be something quick to deliver within an hour, ideally 2 back-to-back. It has to be below $150 ideally, and something that can deliver immediate results, because you need that dopamine hit for people to want to come back again. A facial, a Botox. Baby Botox packages, perfect gateway drug for anything else. Facials, dermaplaning sessions, body contouring, laser hair removal, they all work really, really well. Okay. Master the consultation. This is essentially the sales process. If you don't use these opportunities to treat the appointment as someone who's come in afresh with a problem and a desire, and you create that gap between where they are and where they want to be, you're essentially missing out on the opportunity to retain them. You don't treat them as, I've come in for this $25, $55, $99 service and I'm done. It's like, forget the thing that got them there in the first place. When they come in, the conversation starts anew. What's the problem? How long has it been a problem? Why is it a problem? What does it mean for you? Get to the specifics of what the problem is, and then to the meaning of what that problem means for the client and how it impacts them. And then prescribe a treatment that's adequate for what they need. Okay. I have videos on this on the channel explaining how to get over the I just want this one session limitation, which is fundamentally dealing with the fact that people will want a either quick fix or a permanent solution. And of course, don't expect everyone to upsell, but typically you want your ratio to be around 40%. And so track the right metrics, your customer acquisition, your lifetime value. Your ratio between those two should be at least 3-to-1, if not 5-to-1. Your conversion rate and your average time to second visit. The quicker the better, obviously. So you can break even or even make that profit in the first week, 2, ideally, certainly in the first 30 days. And then finally, optimize your follow-up. Money's in the follow-up. It goes without saying. Emails, SMS, calling your leads again, writing cards for them. You have to get them in again and commit them for a second visit with a deposit, with a payment up front, to make sure that you're actually able to scoop up that revenue and count it in your initial touch point, in your initial visit, because that's going to give you the reassurance and the confidence that this is a strategy that can make sense for you. So this was it, a very quick run through, a very quick blitz explanation of this process all over again. If you want us to help you with implementation, then find us at medspapatients.com, and if not, we'll see you in the next video.